Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lori Smith on Blog Talk Radio, and I am glad to be here. I have a most awesome guest here today and a friend, a new friend, Patrick Dati. He's going to join us here today. We're going to speak for about 40, 45 minutes, somewhere in there, talking about his mission and about his story and about what he's doing. Patrick Dati is the founder, creator of You and Me Can Stop Bullies, and Patrick Dati is. I'll let Patrick tell you about himself, but he's he's on a mission and public awareness, public education, and really creating a lot of noise about the issues of bullying and child sexual abuse and whatnot. And he's got an amazing story. He's a survivor himself, and he's doing quite well. And out here really trying to help other people, trying to help people who have been abused, trying to help stop the issues of bullying and child sexual abuse, and also try to promote that we can move from just being a victim or just being a survivor to a thriver, and we can take back our lives. And so I love Patrick's mission, and I love what he's doing. And he was here on Blog Talk Radio and has been on several national interviews and whatnot on national television. But he was on Bill Murray's show here not too long ago, and Bill's a good friend of mine too from NASCA Scan. Bill Murray's Stop Child Abuse Now here on Blog Talk Radio. So I'm just going to introduce Patrick right now. Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Lori.
It's just wonderful to have you here. I'm great. I've been looking forward to this show. I was really looking forward to this all week, and just today I got so excited about it. I was like, yay, Patrick's on my show.
Thank you for having me.
It's wonderful for you to be here. I appreciate you taking the time to do this because I know you're busy, and it's nice for you to schedule the time to come on my show. I do appreciate it, and on a Sunday and everything. And you may have had things already planned and things going on, but I do appreciate it. And the main issue, You and Me Can Stop Bullies. I love your website, and I love what you're doing. And maybe you can tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. Whatever you want to tell as far as your mission and why you're doing what you're doing. And who you are and why you're out here creating this real momentum, this movement.
Sure. I hid my entire life out of shame and fear from my abuse sexually that happened to me when I was 9 years old. In addition to that, the abuse that I went through, which was sibling bullying from my elder brother. And never really had any intent to broadcast my message or even think of doing what I'm doing now. I was ashamed of what had happened to me. I blamed myself for the abuse, which was all wrong. And last February that changed. My life changed last February. Well, this year. It'll be a year in February. I was at a family event, a dinner, and my brother was heavily intoxicated, both with drugs and alcohol. And he, once again, attempted to kill me, threatened to kill me. Told me he hated me, called me a faggot in front of my whole family, and said that he hated me his entire life. And I feared that his threat was going to happen. And I was shaken and ran out of the house. Now, granted, this was this year, 47 years old. I'm running out of my mother's house, away from my brother. And I said I would never, ever do this again. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to live in shame. And I gave up. That was it. That was my straw. That was my breaking grade. I could not do it anymore.
Yeah. Just felt like, that's it. That's the last time. Yeah, well, that's hard because, first of all, I know just reading your website, for anybody who's listening to the archive and is not in the chat room, Patrick Dati's website is You and Me Can Stop Bullies. And I have the website here, and it's http:// you and me can stop bullies, all one word, youandmecanstopbullies.com. And on the website really goes into detail about what you went through and just, the lack of support really from your family. And I think most people, I'm not putting your family down, I'm just saying, because I know in my family, the siblings didn't rally together. There was a lot of sibling abuse in my family, so I completely understand where you're coming from there. And it wasn't like the siblings get banded together to say, let's help each other, let's get through this, or let's get through whatever we need to get through. So many times siblings won't do that, and if there was always sort of the issues of bullying going on, they don't usually change even through adulthood. I have the same thing going on with me, to be honest with you, Patrick. One of my brothers actually says he hates my guts too, and that's really sad because he's my older brother, and you'd think he would love his younger sister, but no, that's not the case. He hates me and he hates what I'm doing, and so I understand completely where you're coming from. A lot of times,
I think, Lori, I think part of the problem with my family, I can't speak for yours, but it's lack of education, it's lack of acceptance. If they accept what has happened to me, then they have to be accountable, and they don't want to do that because then they are actually viewed as the abuser. So I don't fight that battle anymore because it's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
I just, am on a mission. My mission is to help other people. What's going on with Penn State right now is unexcusable. That is exactly what happened to me. I mean, young boys hiding from their abuse. And it's sad. It's pathetic that we're in 2011 and people are covering up abuse. It's
still
horrendous.
Yeah.
It's horrendous.
I hear you. This is ridiculous, and you're right. It is completely unacceptable because the issues, the level of education really, obviously it has come up, but yet why is this still happening? If the level of education about, surrounding abuse, child sexual abuse, exploitation and whatnot, if the level of education really has come up that far, then why do we still have this happening? Because this is an issue where really sick individuals are getting away with a crime. Child sexual abuse is a crime, and this is not acceptable at all. And like we were talking earlier, how this is one case, this Penn State thing. This is just one case, and they got busted and they got blown wide open. And now you sit and you think, okay, how much of this is actually going on around North America? Let's even just say North America. This is not probably an isolated case. I'm sure of it. This is going on. We know what's going on. It's unfortunate.
You're so right. And with me, the main thrust of my story is that I was raped at 9 years old, who I didn't know at the time who the person was, but growing up in Chicago on the Northwest Side, years later, I found out that the person who molested me was the notorious serial killer, John Wayne Gacy, who went on to kill where they found 33 boys in his home, and now surfacing again, finding more bodies in other cities that he traveled. So it's a story where people like, well, why did you not come forward earlier? Why didn't you tell your story? Well, he threatened to kill me. I was 9 years old. What did you expect me to do? That year, I flunked the third grade. I was an A student in the beginning of the year. My parents transferred me from the public school to the Catholic school. That was their way of adjusting what was going on in my life. And I attempted suicide maybe at about 11 years old the first time. And no one wanted to accept what was going on in my life. No one wanted to address it because if they did, they had to be ashamed of what happened to me, which I was going through that myself. I hid. From the sexual assault, I developed a condition called obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, which is very common upon rape victims and children of abuse. And my OCD was based on religion. I prayed. That year that I was raped, I made my first communion, and I received a Bible and a rosary, and my obsession was praying that the rape would go away. I would pray, and I would do the rosary several times a day to erase what had happened to me. And when my brother would see me doing this, he would beat me more because he thought I was a freak.
Right. Because this is a lot of times the issue is because you're different. You're doing something different or something that they think is childish or silly or sissy or even whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? This is a very, very harsh situation. I'm really glad that you survived and that, first of all, that you survived and didn't get killed by that serial killer, that crazy guy, and also that you didn't take yourself out. You know what I mean? So many times, I know, like you're not alone in this, and other survivors, if you're listening to this, you're not alone in this. It's quite often people will attempt suicide, or have suicidal ideations or thoughts and whatnot. I know I did, and it's a harsh situation. This is why, we're doing what we're doing. This is why, Patrick Dati and people like myself and other people out here, other advocates and people out here, public speakers are out here making as much noise as possible, really, to because we know there's so many survivors who have been through, the similar situations that we have. And it's incredibly hard on people, to try to live, to try to deal and cope with this, especially when you don't have a whole lot of support and no one's really supporting you in your family or in the people that are around you. You need that support. So here you're basically on your own in this, suffering along and just kind of just probably just by your website you were probably just feeling like, well, I need to just keep moving and keep going, and with these underlying issues, of being sexually assaulted and being, so frightened, you know what I mean, as a child, because a 9-year-old child, I mean, that's really young, and, that's, it's a scary thing for a child to go through, very traumatic, and it's no wonder that that these things happen to you, and you were thinking about, trying to pray it away or trying to end your life. It's very, very hard, and this is what so many young kids today will be going through because there won't be any help for them, just like in your case and in my case. And very, very sad because if they don't realize that, first of all, the shame is not theirs, you know what I mean? It belongs to the abuser, it belongs to the perpetrator. The guilt is not a child's fault. It's never a child's fault. And, and then, of course, it will affect you. I know I was looked upon as being a strange kid, because of the things that I would do. I had a lot of nervous problems because of the abuse that I was suffering. And I was laughed at and mimicked and made fun of, and just people just thought I was, I think, mentally handicapped, you know what I mean? And, that caused me to have a lot of self-worthlessness, low self-esteem, did a lot of drugs, and, still tried to maintain my life just like you did. Just like you did, Patrick, and living a life really that wasn't even your own, that you never even, would have chosen for yourself necessarily, but just going along with what you thought your family would have expected from you. Just living, basically, like you said, living a lie.
Right.
And never being able to deal with what you needed to deal with, and that's a hard situation to be coming out from.
Yeah, I think, Lori, the other message that I want to deliver to people, especially young men, because men and boys hide from their abuse and don't want to confront it because they fear they're going to be rejected, which essentially was my life. I knew I was gay at an early age and wanted that lifestyle and wanted to be with another man or another boy, but I never did because I knew that I would have been rejected from my family. And it took me, I was married to 2 women. I have a daughter who's 15 who I love, who's the love of my life, who loves me and loves what I'm doing. But
that's awesome.
I did a life. I lived a life that was pretend. It was what everyone else wanted for me. It's what everybody else expected of me. But it's nothing that I wanted. I didn't want to live that life, but I lived it to please my family and so that I would be accepted. And now, in 2011, my family disowned me. My father passed away a year ago. My mother still loves me and still have a relationship with her. But my brothers and sisters do not accept me. They don't accept who I am, and they don't accept what I'm doing. And they're ashamed of what I'm doing. They asked me to take my website down. They asked me to stop doing these interviews because I'm embarrassing their family.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm in the same position. And so many times people are, advocates who speak out. So many times the family will not want that. They will feel that their privacy is being infringed upon. But the truth is truth, and that just shows you the dysfunction really that is, and it's not even just familial dysfunction. It's society's dysfunction of, hey, we don't want to see this, we don't want to know about it. It's too embarrassing. It's too this or it's too that. It's not acceptable. Well, you know what? You have a life to live, and it's not their life, it's your life. And we have a life to live. We need to live our lives. So I commend you for doing what you're doing and coming. Yeah. It's
true, and it's like, we're in 2011, and I don't mean to bring this up, but it's so vibrant in the society right now and in the public is Penn State. It's just unbelievable. It's inexcusable that someone could watch a child being abused and not come forward. It's unexcusable. And it makes me want to vomit just thinking about it, because I was that child.
Yeah.
And no one did anything. And now, how do these children, what do you expect their lives to be like?
Right. You got it right there. Exactly. Like, what do people, how do people expect a child to be able to make it under those circumstances? It's just a miracle when they do. And that's why, I say, it's a miracle that you're still here. And even myself, it's a miracle that I'm still here. And that's why we do what we do, because we know that so many children will not make it. So many children will grow up. They will have so many issues and problems due to the abuse that they suffered or due to the bullying that they suffered. Bullying is incredibly damaging. Whether it's sibling bullying or bullying on the playground or bullying at school, doesn't matter what kind of bullying it is or where it's coming from. Bullying is completely unacceptable and completely deadly. Children kill themselves because of bullying, and if they don't kill themselves as children, many times they'll grow up and then kill themselves as adults because of bullying, right? People don't seem to understand the seriousness of bullying, and they don't seem to understand the seriousness of child sexual abuse. It's all almost like they pretend, the society and the public pretends it's over their head when it's really not. We all know this is incredibly wrong, and yet people will stand by and allow it to happen. It's like, oh, well, they're just, they're boys being boys, or they're just, that's the way it is in schools. That's the attitude with so many people, is like, that's just the way it is, no way of fixing it. And it's like, okay, well, there really is a way of fixing it.
I agree with you. Like, for me, my sibling bullying with my brother cracked my head open at 5 years old, stitches. Cracked my lip open at 7 years old, stitches. Gave me 3 concussions between the ages of 9 and 13. Every time my parents took me to the emergency room, the doctor would ask what happened, and my mom and dad would say, you know, boys will be boys, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that was the late 1960s, the early 1970s, but that's the excuse people are using now. And it's unbelievable that
I know.
parents get away with it. And, you know, I say to my mother, and I love her to death, shame on you. Shame on you. I was being a victim by my brother who hated me. And it's horrible. And kids live this way every day.
Yeah, that's the sad part, is that we know this is going on all over the, you know, and we're just talking North America here today, but I mean, talking about worldwide, but I mean, North America even, take Canada and the United States. I mean, we know how much of this is going on. And people just will look the other way, they'll excuse it away, you know, and they don't realize the damage being done. You know, and here you are at the age of, like you were saying, just this last year, running out of your mother's home because this brother who had bullied you your whole life, growing up as a young child, and even all the, you know, into your youth and whatnot, and it had caused you serious damage, you would take his threat seriously. You know what I mean? And so you living in fear, you know what I mean? Living in fear not only from being, you know, attacked and viciously attacked by a serial killer, you know what I mean? And then having these fears of, you know, wow, even my own family, you know, where's the trust? Where, you know, like, my God, you know, you can't even trust your own family, and you know you can't trust these crazy, strange people out here. Oh, my God. You know what I mean? It sets you up for a life of distrust and a life of fear, like you're saying. And so many children will experience this today, right, and tonight and tomorrow. And that's why I love your website. You know, You and Me Can Stop Bullies. And I love your mission, and I'm really going to be keeping a close eye and keep watching what you're doing, because I know, like, you speak for many different groups. RAIN is one. RAIN, you speak for NASCA, and, you know, like, you're out here really, you know, raising the level of awareness. And it's so important. Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, I would
Lori,
say, you know, don't, you know.
What is really rewarding is this year the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, every year they do a campaign on trauma victims that survive. They chose me as one of their spokespeople for 2012. What will happen is I went to D.C. in September of this year. They interviewed me in a studio for about an hour and a half. My story will be told throughout 2012 on their website, and they will use me in classroom education about trauma victims that survive to help other people who are faced with the same challenges that I was, but maybe don't realize that they are survivors as well. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of that.
That is
you know,
awesome.
In my case, I have no relationship with my family anymore. My brother has threatened to kill me. I have a restraining order against him. Thank God my neighbor that lives above me is a police officer and knows my situation. But I don't doubt at any point, if I tell people all the time, if I'm a story on the news, you know who killed me, and it's my brother.
That's sad. You know, that's sad because,
so sad.
You know, it's a sad situation, but it does happen, and people need to get a grip and realize that this sort of thing, you know, happens all the time. And sometimes it doesn't make the news, sometimes it does. And we don't hear about every single case, you know what I mean? And it's incredibly wrong. You know, you have the right to live your life. You have the right to come forward with your story. You have the right to, you know, to voice your story to help other people. You know, and so, you know, you have, just like you're just one more person with everybody else out here that, you know, like all of us that are doing this, breaking the silence. And so many people don't like that. And some people would like to see it shut down, just like you were saying that, you know, you were being asked to, you know, earlier this year to shut your website down because it's embarrassing the family and whatnot. I'm in the same boat. I've got my family saying, you know, you shouldn't be doing this because it's, you know, it looks bad on us. It's like, well, you know what? If the guilt is there, well, then there you go. Take, you know, that's your own issue. Truth is truth, and truth needs to be spoken, and truth needs to be told. And you know, I really give you a pat on the back and commend you for doing this, because it's at the risk of your own well-being. You know what I mean? And it's a serious issue. You know what I mean? Certainly it is. So many times people don't want us to come out and speak. You know what I mean? It does take a certain sense of, you know what, I don't care, do whatever you're going to do to me, but I'm going to speak and I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to, you know, try to help people. And so, you know, it doesn't necessarily come without peril, that's for sure. But it's an important thing to do, and I think that it's an important. You know how important it is, because
it's amazing. My life has changed since September 23rd this year. That's when I was chosen as a spokesperson for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Locally here in Chicago, WGN did an interview with me. Since then, I've been on ABC News with John Garcia in Chicago. I've been on NBC News in Chicago with Dick Johnson, all telling my story in very vibrant ways. And my goal out of all of this is to get the message out that, no, we cannot live with abuse. We cannot live this way anymore. And we need to change the way society is living. You think 2011 it would be a different world. It's not. Lori, what I went through in my life, I don't wish upon my worst enemy, who is probably my brother. I don't wish my life upon anybody. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare that I'm still not over. And if I can save one person from going through that, I've done God's work. I've done God's work.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's right. And I think because you are, you know, because of who you are, and the fact that you're a caring person, and that you know, you're not, it's not just all about, hey, you know, I got my life together, I feel great now, off I go. You know, you're willing to put yourself out here to help people, and it's obvious that that's what you're doing. And so obviously, you know, it will help and many people. And, you know, but like I hear you, if you can help one, I mean, that's worth it. It's worth the whole thing. And you know, obviously it does help people, and I know it does mean something, and it does matter, and it will go down, you know, in the history books as one more person trying to change this world for the better. And that's what I love about what you're doing. And I think, you know, it's great. And up and coming, like, we'll be watching for you, and, you know, keep an eye on what you'll be doing. And everybody who's listening to the archive, you can see all those interviews on Patrick's website on You and Me Can Stop Bullies. And the interviews are there are really quite great. And also the information about your upcoming kind of like speaking stuff. And you have a book coming out sometime in the near future here. That's awesome.
I'm so excited about my book. It's something, Lori, I have to tell you and your audience. My book, I had no intentions of writing a book. I've been seeing my psychiatrist for 14 years. About 6 years ago, he said to me, Patrick, I think it would be helpful for you to therapeutically write a diary and release everything that's happened to you in your life. And so that's what I did. I took a pen and paper and I started writing. No intention of that becoming a book. And I shared it with my best friend, who's one of my mentors. And he is a writer. And he said, my friend, you have a book here. And I said, no way. I need releasing everything that happened to me. And he said, no, this is a book. You have to write it. It's going to help other people. And I said, you're crazy. I'm not a book writer. And it's incredible. The book has become my passion, and my goal in life is to release it because I know that it will help save lives. I know it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. No, that's so great. I hear you. That's what happened to me. I never considered myself to be a writer, but I've written 3 books now. And yeah, it's a good feeling because it freed me. It freed me from those chains, that I had been bound and carried, carrying these chains around with me and this gag and just being silenced. And what it did was it allowed me to be free, But I knew that in doing that if other people and other survivors especially got a hold of it, it would be some validation for them, and also they could see that, hey, I'm not only just surviving, and I'm not just surviving. I'm actually thriving. I'm actually doing really well. And I think, and it's an important message to send to survivors of abuse, and sexual violence and abuse and bullying and just this whole, this whole negative stuff. That we can have a better, we can have a good life, and really it has a lot to do with the choices that we make, and that we can choose, who to allow into our lives, and we can choose our life. We don't like you were saying your whole life was based on a lie, and you were just living in fear and living in this lie, and that's how I felt too. I was living a lie until I came forward with my story, really about three years ago, and it really did free me, because I was like, okay, now I can be me. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's great. That's a great feeling, and I hope other people will. I myself will be really happy to pick up your book when it comes out, and I hope other people will too, because I know that your story is very important to me. It's important to a lot of people, and it'll be really important to a whole lot of men out there who don't have, like you say, and so many times men don't have any support. Who do they turn to? The shame, the guilt of being abused, the shame and the guilt of living a life of fear, living this lie, they don't feel like they can come forward and talk to anybody, And so I think that your book and your voice is very powerful, and it's very much needed, So
I had no idea. I mean, when I started to develop my website, I was like, okay, what am I doing? And I said, I'm saving lives. So I didn't even have an idea what the title of my website would be. And then I just said, you and me can stop bullying. I mean, you know what? It's not just me. It's society. We can stop. If we want to, we can stop it. And that's, I am a big believer of Dan Savage, his campaign, about it gets better. It does get better. It does. I'm a believer of that. It does get better. And it took me 47 years, my entire life, to get better.
Right.
I'm better now. I'm better. I'm happy. I love myself. I love my life.
That's awesome.
I have a great partner. He's a college professor. The love of my life. It gets better. It does. Every day it gets better. And it took me to accept who I am and to accept what happened to me. And I no longer have my family, but that's okay. Because I'm better without them.
Yeah, and you have a new family now, and you have new friends and new family who care about you and honor your choices and are happy that you're happy.
So you're my.
Yeah. Well,
you're
that's awesome. Well, you're my brother.
Exactly.
Well, I'm. Yeah, that's right.
Say to me. They're like, we're family now. It was like Bill Murray, when I did his show, you're my brother. And that's never going to change. And I was like, oh, my God. Here's the guy I don't even know saying that I'm his brother. And he is. He is my brother.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill, he's my brother, too. He is. He's awesome. The whole group, the panel is awesome. And this is the thing, right? We have a new family. One who loves us for who we are, just for who we are, and wouldn't want us to change for any reason because they are happy that we're happy who we are. They want the best for us. That's a family, right? That's a real
Lord,
family.
we're going to stop this together. We're going to stop this. I don't know how quickly it's going to happen, but together, you and I, Bill Murray, whoever, we're going to stop this. We're going to stop kids from killing themselves. We're going to stop abuse. I want to cry from knowing what's happening with these kids in Penn State. It's ridiculous. It's I can't even grasp. I can't even think about it.
Well, it's hard.
And we're in 2011.
Oh, I know.
You would think things would have changed, and it doesn't, Lori. It doesn't change.
No, not until we get everybody on board, and that's the thing, and that's why, that's the whole issue. That's why it's so important to your mission is what you're doing, and just continuing to speak out and continuing to say, hey, no, we need to stop this, right? And so that's why I love your website. You and Me Can Stop Bullying, because you're right. It takes you, it takes me. It can't just be one of us. It's going to have to be all of us, and we all need to get on board. And so anybody who wants to connect with you, Patrick, I know they can contact you on your website. They can contact us here, if they want to get a hold of your website information. And just if you want to get involved, right? And I always encourage people to get involved locally, get involved nationally, just get involved because we need everybody in on this. Everybody, if we're going to make this change, because you're right, 2011, and here we are with the same issues going on and the same, let's just keep this under the carpet. Let's just, sweep this under, let's just keep those chains on and keep these people silenced. I mean, that's what abusers want, right? And so, we have to come out and make noise. We have to be out here vocal, and we have to be out here in the public eye to gain more support. We need more people in on this. And people need to look out for the children in their own lives, like moms and dads and other siblings. Make sure that your own family is not being abused. You know what I mean? And do something about it if they are. Get them some help. Don't allow this to continue on, right? And within school systems, something like this is going on. Of course, it's out of fear many times that people will not tell, and we know this. I mean, that's what happened to me too. But yet, if we don't tell, it's going to just continue to go on and on and on. And
I have a gorgeous 15-year-old daughter. My daughter is a sophomore in high school, head cheerleader, very popular, lives in a very upscale community in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. And my daughter is like, Dad, I'm so proud of what you're doing, because she sees it herself as a teenager.
Right.
Still, what's going on in the school district. And she's like, I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm proud of the message you're delivering, and keep doing it. And, as a father, that is so rewarding to know that
awesome.
I have the backing of my daughter, who lives in it right now. She's living it. So.
She's out here seeing it firsthand. That's right. Well, this is it. And just, such a positive influence. Like, I think, that's why I love what you're doing, and I love your message, and I love what you're doing, because it's so proactive, and it's like, hey, you and me, we can stop bullying, together. And, I think it's a great message, and I think that, what you're doing is so powerful. And I would say, don't be discouraged. There will always be somebody trying to shut us down. But we just got to keep on going, because, it's obvious that people want to hear from you. You know what I mean? And so, if anybody would like to, to schedule Patrick to speak, and to come on their shows, or to be on national networking or national radio, national TV, be sure and get a hold of Patrick Dati, because your message is so powerful and so needed that hopefully, we'll just see you everywhere. That's what I'm hoping.
It's funny because when I thought about the website, I was like, stop bullying, stop it now. I was like coming up with a phrase, and when I came up with you and me, my web developer said, wow, that's a long URL. And I said, I don't care, because that's my message. You and me can stop bullying. We can do it together. If we strategize, do it together, we can make it happen.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's awesome. And that's just exactly, this is it, people. I hope for everybody who's listening and tuning in, we can do this, but it's going to take all of us, and we can do it. We can all do it together. And so, get a hold of Patrick if you want to, find out more about what he's doing, and contact him on his website. And that's http:// you and me can stop bullies. That's all one word, all together. You and me can stop bullies.com. And, I know that you have another interview coming up here, so I don't want to keep you too long. But I really appreciate you coming on the show, Patrick. And you're right. Well, I consider you my friend and my brother. And, I'm so glad that you took the time to come on my show, and that, to be a part of what you're doing, your mission. Like, that's awesome. If I can help in any way, let me know. And up here, like in Canada, we need this so badly too, right? So I'll be promoting your stuff as much as I can, and, get the word out as much as I can about what you're doing. And because it's really for all of us, like it's to make this world a better place.
When you and I connected, I knew instantly we were going to be friends for life, and I really believe that.
That's awesome. That's how I felt.
We both have a mission, and we're both passionate about what we're doing. And like I said, this is a Sunday afternoon. It's 2:40 in Chicago. I have another interview I have to do, and people are like, are you getting paid for these interviews? I'm like, no, why would I get paid for these interviews? I'm doing this so that I can help someone else survive and not live the tragic life that I live my entire life. So, Lori, we are BFFs.
Right on.
If I can do anything to help someone survive the miserable life that I live, we're on the right path, my friend. We're on the right path.
Absolutely. So you got that right.
I will say this, and this is on my website, by the way. I'm kind of thinking that I want it to be my title of my book, and I'll end it this way. I am me, and I won't change for anyone.
I like that.
I'm me. I won't change for anyone. So, listeners...
That's got to be a promise.
Visit my website, Lori, you're the greatest. You and me can stop bullies.com. And, Lori, I'm honored to be on your show, and if we can help save one person from being ashamed or afraid of who they are, then we've done our job, my friend.
Absolutely. You got that right. All right. Well, thanks, Patrick. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll be in touch for sure. We'll keep in touch. And, just know that I got you in my heart, and I'll be real happy to see what's happening with you in the near future. Here's to the rest of 2011, and here's to 2012, and here's to a great life, Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
We'll talk to you real soon. Have a great interview.
God bless.
Yep. God bless you, too. Thanks, everybody, for being here. What an awesome, awesome time to spend with Patrick Dati, and I hope everybody will go and check out his website. It's a great website. The first time I saw it, it drew me in, and I thought, oh, wow, this is so needed, so necessary. You see there are a lot of advocates out there. There are a lot of people talking publicly about, bullying, the issues surrounding bullying, but Patrick Dati's one more. And support him, support his work, support what he's doing. We need to support them all, right? Like, not just, really do what you can to spread the message. Pass it around on Facebook, share it on Twitter, put it on MySpace, right? Whatever social networking sites that you have, pass this stuff around, because you never know that one person may just need to see some of what Patrick is doing in order to feel that they too can be free from this life of being living in fear and living in shame and living in silence, because they'll see, what Patrick Dati has done, and that, that he's really, he's like a light, like a torch in the darkness, right? For a lot of people, and especially for a lot of young men and men who have been abused sexually, or who who are living in fear due to the shame and the stigma surrounding being sexually abused, or even just the shame and the stigma surrounding their own sexual identity. You know what I mean? So, and he's a voice for women too, not just for men. He's a voice for everybody out here who's ever been forced to keep the shame and silence of being abused. Really, he's like I said, he's like a light. He's like a torch in the darkness for a lot of people. Make sure that you do support his work and check out his website. Pass his website information around. Get the word out what he's doing, because he's really doing some great work, and people are picking up on what he's doing. And, we'll see lots more from Patrick Dati, I'm sure. And when his book comes out, I'll be sure and let everybody know, because I'm going to be real interested in getting a copy of it myself. And so have a great day, everybody. Take really good care of yourselves. I'll be back on later tonight. And, on tomorrow, starting out again, One Child Abuse Survivor to another, back same time, same place, 6 a.m. Thanks for being here. I appreciate everybody who tuned into the show. And Patrick had to run off for another interview. He's busy these days, which is great. This is what we want to see, right? The more national coverage Patrick Dati gets, the more bullying, the more, anti-bullying campaigns will start, the more, Let's Stop Child Sexual Abuse campaigns will go, right? We need to support people out here who are making, headline news and national news as far as advocates go, because he's got a powerful voice in it, and his story is very, very important, just like yours, just like mine. And what he's doing, he's speaking for all of us, really, when he's doing this, because he wants to help change this and make this world a better place. So, and like a lot of people that I know, advocates and whatnot, who are out here doing the same thing, support the work, because a lot of times it's unpaid, and we're just doing it because we care and we want to see this world a better place. You know what I mean? Children should not suffer, and children should not have to suffer at the hands of another person. Bad enough that a child ends up with some sort of child cancer or something. I mean, that's horrible. Some sort of childhood disease or something. That's terrible. But when a child's being abused, being bullied, being beaten, having to live in sheer panic and fear and shame, and that's not right. We do need to stop this, and you and me can stop bullies. So that's Patrick Dati's website, youandmecanstopbullies.com. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.